How do you go from a real estate agent to a note expert? Stay tuned. Welcome to this week's edition of NoteSchool TV, episode 240. We are so happy to have all of you on today. And today we have, well, an amazing guest. And before we get to that, let's do a few little housekeeping items. Number one, make sure and like this episode. Yep, hit the like button, share it with your friends, your associates, everybody that you know out there. Number two, subscribe to the NoteSchool TV channel so you can go back and view all of the NoteSchool, well, 239 other NoteSchool TV episodes, right? And then number three, hit that bell notification. Bing, go ahead and hit that so that you will be notified when we go live. When? Every Wednesday at 11:05 Central Time. If you'd like to know more about what we do at NoteSchool, simply go to noteschool.com/TV. Again, noteschool.com/TV. And with that, I want to bring on, well, NoteSchool's Chief Visionary Officer, founder, all-around good guy, Mr. Eddie Speed.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, and it is a good morning, isn't it?
It certainly is. It certainly is. I've been doing this for a long time, but it is fun to wake up every day and know that you have a solution to an industry problem.
You know, that just kind of hits the nail right on the head, right? Are you a hammer or are you a nail? I know you like to say that, right? You guys can choose which one you think Eddie is, right?
Well, I'm fired up because I see it every day. And I know that what my schedule looks like of people that are kind of big players in the business, and we're solving problems for them, and obviously smaller players. And you're going to love our guest today and how she is now imparting those ideas and strategies into helping her clients and other people in her industry. So yeah, let's just say that it's great to be a go-giver, Joe. How about that?
Great to be a go-giver. And, you know, the most successful entrepreneurs in the world are ones, well, they are go-givers, right? But number two, they know how to fill in and take care of a problem, fill in the gaps, right? The voids, as we used to say.
That's it.
All right, I'm going to jump off. I'll see you at the end of the show and have a great interview.
We will do it. Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, our guest today, y'all are going to love this lady. She is, she's a quiet giant, I would say, right? She doesn't always throw herself up in the front of the room, but buddy, when she's there, she is a rock star, and just really, really so thrilled to see her progression in the business. You guys welcome Miss Rowena Graham.
Hey there.
I think you are a quiet giant.
I try not to be too outspoken too often.
Yeah. We were teasing you before we started that you're from the South, but not Alabama.
No, a little further south than that.
You grew up in Sydney, Australia, right?
That's right. Yeah. Born and bred Sydney, Australia.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Mississippi, and I am from what they call the South, but I got to Texas as quick as I could, Roland.
Well, apparently I did too. So it's been good so far.
Well, we're glad to have you. And I know that you have a big life goal to kind of work back and spend part of the time there. And I think the note business can help you get there. And we'll talk about that as we kind of progress. So, Rowena, we are glad to have you today, and just kind of start out, give us a little bit of kind of your journey in real estate before you kind of got to NoteSchool.
Yeah, so I actually started, I got my real estate license back in 2010, and I've been with the same brokerage ever since then, just because I have felt that it's been a very good family environment to help grow agents and share and teamwork and work together, other agents wanting to make that difference and that help. So, and I think that we've had a lot of collaboration from other other real estate agency, Keller Williams, to come and be part of our office and help grow with our education as well. So I think that's been a really big help.
Yep, I'm quite a fan of Keller Williams and KW, right?
Yeah.
And so I really, and so I've gotten the opportunity to speak to a number of offices across the country at some speaking gigs that I've done for, not directly for Keller Williams, but kind of indirectly.
Right.
And so that kind of led to how we got connected. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, how did that path kind of wind in that we got connected together?
Yeah. So again, our offices work together. Different KW offices work together and share training and things like that. And we actually had a class with Emily Cartwright, and she actually came in and taught a class in our office. And it was one of those light bulb moments that I had, that I was like, this is really where real estate needs to move, especially for me, for my clients, because I have a lot of investor clients that I can help, redirect their funds and making sure that they're getting the most out of their investment dollars. And I think that was really an eye-opening class for me.
Yeah, Emily and Adam have been on the show, as you know, many times now, and so she's a little rock star.
She
right?
is.
And,
she is.
She's quite a lady, and so yeah, I'm so glad that connected. And I remember well when you and your husband came to a class, and I guess that was in December of 2023.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah,
and
that was
so,
right after. That was
yeah.
That was great.
And so I think what's really funny, because in 23 I understood this deficit problem of rental properties, but the market wasn't really wanting to listen to me then, Rowena.
Yeah.
You did, because you understood it.
Right. I could see what you were saying. Yeah, that was made a big. There was just a struggle for all our investors.
It's hard for us to change our minds sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you have a lot of clients that are both local as well as out of town investors that you sourced properties that they would buy and rent.
Right.
That was kind of a specialization that you had. And the reason I said you're a quiet giant, Rowena, is because while you knew all that and you could see all that map building out, you just you might have told the whole team about it, but I didn't know about it. And I later found out, like, oh, Rowena, like, she completely understands what the problem is.
Right.
You remember back in the days when people were buying everything at an 8 cap, right?
Yes. Yeah. And then all of a sudden that's no longer.
It's no longer.
So what do you do? What do you do with your investors? And that was really trying to find a different direction for them. And it was a challenge.
I've come up with these little funnies, right? Or at least they're funny to me. I don't know if everybody else thinks they're entertaining or not, but I say inflation drank your milkshake.
Right.
And that is kind of a truth, right?
Yes, for sure. Especially here in Dallas, that's been a real struggle.
What market is that not true in?
Yeah. That's
right.
Yes.
In other words, and so this has kind of been our thesis, is that we're showing landlords how they can make more money with rentals than notes. And you've now gotten on this path. You're like focused on this path.
Yes.
And now you're helping your clients see a different way. So let's talk about that. Give us a sense of what that looks like.
So it's become a whole lot easier, because now I have another direction for them to be able to go, rather than struggling to find properties that fit within, the model of what they want. And now being able to have the option to go, hey, you can do, owner financing, you can hold a note instead of trying to fight with, everybody buying those expensive properties and not be able to keep in your budget. And that's something that's really changed that conversation with my clients. And it's become so easy and natural to have those conversations now, because they're really trying to look to diversify, and it's just flowing straight through into notes and partials and all those kinds of things, which has been just incredibly eye-opening to be able to offer that and help my clients see that.
I want to point something else out to Rowena, because I was working with, I've mentioned to you that I have some fractional CFOs that specialize in only working with real estate investors, right? They represent a lot of these masterminds that I'm in, where the guys are the biggest house buyers in town, whatever town that is,
Right.
right? And a significant amount of them have rental portfolios. So they're kind of their wealth side of their business is not flipping houses, it's rental portfolios. And now all of a sudden they all have this same complaint, like we were earning an 8 cap. Now we're earning a 4 cap on the same house.
That's a problem.
And the other thing they're trying to do is these BRRRR models, this buy, rehab, rent, refi, right? The BRRRR model. Well, I'm certain that if you challenge the math today, that we will kick the crap out of a BRRRR model with seller financing on the same house. Right. And so it could be a way that you kind of exploit that back out with your investors and just make them look at it differently. Why not be the bank than be the landlord? Right.
Exactly.
If being the bank is twice as profitable, and which I think you and I kind of agree that's the case. So
yes, for sure.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit. We just had our big semi-annual event, what we call Summer Summit, and our Titanium Mastermind. They were together, kind of day and a half of one and a day and a half of the other. And you guys were there, and I just want to get a sense of like, what did you get out of that?
So, I mean, I happened to go to last year's Summer Summit and Titanium Mastermind. Very different in the direction, and it's great that there is always fresh new information, and you're going out and you're actually driving to help improve not just NoteSchool but for us as investors too. And I think that's really good. The people that you brought in on Thursday and Friday to be able to help grow and manage our businesses, that was absolutely fantastic, that there's those opportunities out there that we can use those to streamline our business, grow our business, help our investors grow the business too. So I thought that was really good. And then of course Saturday and Sunday, that was having to really stop and break down everything, to be able to build it back up, with each process for the different parts that we were looking at. That was very eye-opening to see that we had that opportunity to be able to really get down into the small little nitty-gritty of each process. I thought that was fantastic. That was really good.
Well, the first part, Summer Summit, was me saying, I know that we're going to have a big growth spurt in this business. It's coming. It's happening right now. And so in order to have a growth spurt and you're not have to spend more time with it, the only way you can do it is scale it and have people that can help you do things that you don't physically have to do yourself. Fortunately, I don't have to go to law school to go hire an attorney when I do a foreclosure action, or I don't have to be an accountant to go be able to complete my tax returns, right? In other words, I'm outsourcing things, expertise that I don't need to have myself. Now, I need to know what to expect of them, and I need to know what to ask them so that I'm getting the best result. And so that was kind of my idea. How do I help you guys scale, right? How do I help you do it in a way that I'm bringing in known experts with people with good reputations in the business, that we have a relationship with many of them already. And then how do you do that? Then we got to the Titanium Mastermind.
Yeah.
And the challenge became, before we started and met with you guys, is how do we get these guys out of the stands and on the field, right? And we had an incredible facilitator that wasn't me, but an expert in that field. And I think he really did a great job. And you were a team leader.
I ended up being made a team leader. That was a quick curve right there. But I was really actually very grateful that I had that opportunity, because it really helped me dive in a lot deeper and really get to understand a whole lot more. So I'm very grateful that I got that opportunity. So it was momentarily a little bit of a scary moment, but other than that, it was really, I am very grateful to have had that. So yeah. So thank you.
That was awesome. I got some great pictures of you doing that. And there were 6 different groups. And so Rowena, and there was a collaborative effort with the team. And I literally would say the most exciting thing is looking around there and everybody was engaged. And we broke it into 6 different subjects. And by the way, you see how we did it, even though the subject of working with realtors was another group.
Right.
They now have perfected that process where you can now go adopt what the processes they figured out in there and work through. And so it was really cool. So Rowena, I want to talk about like we think we're really good at working with realtors, right? We think we're really good at helping realtors with solutions today. Mm-hmm. And from your perspective, I want to beat that up with you a little bit if I can.
Sure.
Why does a realtor need to know about seller financing in today's market?
Because, well, especially for me, I mean, I have investors and they're looking to be more diverse because they're having a lot of struggle at the moment. The properties that they have are not producing the money, the cap that they were, a couple of years ago. And, just the increase in cost in expenses and property taxes and insurance and all those kinds of things, they're just not getting it. And the people that they're looking at putting in there just not, taking as good care. And so it's a struggle for them. And they're trying to find other ways to be able to, deploy their money to make it more efficient for them, but also not have to work so hard and be so frustrated with, what they're doing with their rental properties.
We look at it, you and I look at it, and we think there's a house. You can rent it or you can seller finance it. Same house. That's the house. What could you do with it? Well, on one side, you could rent it, but it's producing less than half of the income it used to produce.
Right.
On the other side, you take the same house and you run a seller finance model, and you're like, my gosh, I have way less work, more than double the income, and I can really scale that, right? And so people, and so it's funny, like, of course, I've lived in this for decades now, so I've just seen things change. What used to be really good becomes not good, and what used to be not relevant becomes super relevant, right? And isn't that kind of life?
Yeah, true. We've had a lot of change in the last 5 years, so I think everybody's had to do a lot of rethinking of, direction in life too. So I think that's everything is been changing there very rapidly.
All right, I'm going to get back to kind of like your advice to just anybody, but at the moment, what advice would you give your fellow realtors?
I think what advice I would give myself as a real estate agent, I think that the opportunity is so great to be getting into notes and doing notes for any of your clients that have investment properties. The potential for growth, and passive income is just astronomical, and not having to be focused for the next 20 years. I'm still going to be serving my clients instead of serving myself. I want to be able to grow my passive income. And every other real estate agent, we don't want to be working 60, 70, 80 hours a week for the next 15 or 20 years just so we can hopefully retire. That's crazy. Let's go ahead and put our work and our clients' work for us to good use and grow their passive income, grow our passive income, so we can enjoy life and not have to be working so many crazy hours.
If a realtor is showing an investor how to gain wealth, why don't they show themselves?
Exactly. And that's something that I think a lot of us real estate agents go in, to real estate thinking they're going to make a whole ton of money and realize that they're making their clients a lot of money and not themselves. And so that's something that for me was a big eye opener, that I want to be helping myself make more money, especially passively, if I don't have to kill myself, for so many hours a week.
And Rowena, right now you're having to show your clients how to reinvent themselves as well, right?
Right. Yeah. That's something that, again, they're not making the money that they were, a couple of years ago on their rental properties. It's just not coming back into them every single month because they're constantly having to pay out for, the extra costs of, of having that rental property.
Yeah.
So that's a lot more conversations on my side, which is great. So they're coming a lot more to me to have those conversations. What can we do? How do we make this, a different dynamic? And I'm like, I've got it right here for you.
Your communication skills, Rowena, have gotten very high at being able to convey a clear message in this area, in this particular expertise. And I'm thrilled that we've gotten to work with you and alongside you in that area, and we'll continue to do that. I want to talk a little bit about life, right? Not being a realtor, not being a mother, just life, right? And where is it that you and your husband see your future and how this business can have an impact in that?
So I actually got into real estate originally so I could put my kids through college. That was my goal. That was something that was really passionate to me, that I could afford to pay for them to go to college. Achieved, but was a lot more effort than I thought it should have been. Getting into notes, especially with going to your classes and stuff, and realizing that you guys teach a really good model that I can help my future, not yet, future grandchildren be able to fund their own college through doing passive income all the way through their lives, so they can afford to pay for it themselves. And then our ultimate goal is to be able to be laying on the beach in Australia, enjoying Australia, and knowing that our passive income through our notes and that are doing the work for us, and we can just enjoy time in Australia and then obviously time here, because that's something that is important because we have family in both places.
You can dream big when you have a vision of how you can do it. You agree with that?
Yeah.
When you started with us, you didn't quite have a vision of how that was possible. And it's not a 3-minute explanation, but you start really realizing that's why I bring in all these vendors, because sometimes when you're working on a note deal, you do need boots on the ground. You need somebody to look at it. You need somebody to deal with something, but it doesn't need to be your boots.
Right.
Right.
True. And I've actually done that for the flip side, for an agent that was in Atlanta, and she had somebody that was looking to potentially get some property here in Dallas. And so, we've worked together before in the past. And so she just was like, hey, can you go and look at this property? I was absolutely. And I think that's something that, being a Keller Williams agent, we have such a broad opportunity to be able to use so many agents all over.
Right. Pretty much you can do the note business today with all of the scalability that it now has, and that we've now kind of glued together where people can see it. You can do it in Australia. You can do it in Plano, Texas. You can do it, literally, you can do it wherever, because it's, you don't need to ride around with a tool belt in the back seat of your truck, so to speak. Right. It's not that kind of a thing. And I think we've gotten pretty decent at showing people that. The last thing that I think you said is so important, and that is you have a vision now of how to have legacy and wealth.
Right.
That's important, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. I don't want to have to be working to be able to take my grandchildren to Disney World. Like, that's something that, that would be kind of cool to be able to go, hey, let's just go off and do this, and not go, wait, I have to check my work schedule. Will it fit in? I don't want that. I want to be able to enjoy, my future grandchildren, future grandchildren, and be able to do that when it fits in with everybody.
Well, you start out with a plan, and then you kind of know the direction life takes you a little bit. And that's a little bit of what my wife did. And she started out with a plan a while back where she says, I want to be able to do this. I have, and so she put some things in place that are now, a little more mature than your model at this point. That's how I would say it.
Right.
And so, now all of a sudden it starts becoming clear. And just think about it. Think about, Rowena, the encouragement that you have for somebody on this podcast today, right? On this interview today, and that the people that you influence, like you're just a little further down the road than they are, right?
Yeah. And I think that was something really cool on the weekend when we were in our smaller groups, and there were some really brand new people to Note School, and being able to help them see a better picture and being able to break stuff down and have them had a better understanding. I think that was a really great opportunity. Those smaller groups was a really great opportunity, first of all, to help me grow more, but also help those newer people into Note School get a better understanding of how, I guess, easy and streamlined doing notes is. And especially, we've got so many things that Note School offers us to be able to use to accomplish what we want. And why not? So why not?
Listen, one of my core values is essentially being a go-giver, right? And I think that attitudes are, Southwest Airlines saying, right? Attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching?
Love that one. Love that one.
And I think that we do have, people come and see it and experience it. It may sound a little hokey when you haven't seen it yet, but we're a family. Now, we're not all kin, and we're not all exactly the same. But we are good. We are, as a Note School family, we have a lot of go-givers, and that's our community, and that's what we want to attract. And quite honestly, Rowena, sometimes we see people that aren't a go-giver, and we don't invite them into our community.
Sometimes that's the way it goes. You just have to, fill them out and make sure it's the right fit too. I think sometimes that's important to do too.
Yeah. So because it's our environment, and everybody, now that you're in it, you've been around it, a couple of years, you're pretty protective of it, right? You're saying, this is my environment. This is my tribe, right? So I want to go back a little bit, and let's talk a little bit about just generally somebody that hasn't been to Note School yet. Maybe they've gotten some free stuff. Maybe they came up to a couple of hour thing, maybe whatever that is, but they haven't kind of stepped in the water yet, right? What does that look like for you now that you have been in the water a little bit? What does that direction look like? What do they need to know?
I think that like you were just saying, there's a very good community with Note School, and that everybody wants to help everybody succeed with this. And there isn't, no, I'm not going to give that information over. It's, how can I help you? How can we help you as a group to, at least let's get your first note. Let's get you to this next one. Here, look, I looked at this and I saw that's not going to fit me, but hey, this might fit you. Here, can I help you, get this and run with it? And I think that that's something that this might be a little bit scary to start with, but being able to have you guys every single week being on Deal Lab and being in the huddles and all that kind of stuff, being comfortable knowing that you can do the process very easily, and that it's not scary, it's not daunting, it's not, anything that you're not going to be able to achieve quite easily. It's something that, you guys have made at Note School a very fluid and easy, deliverable product. And I think that is a great asset for anybody that has not gone through and not done notes and doesn't understand it, has not been an investor and doesn't do hard money and doesn't do, wholesaling of properties and notes and things like that. They just are brand new into this and want to learn and want to grow their passive income.
Well, our mission for Note School is to be a home for people that do it full time, but be a home for people that don't want to go build a business. They just want an investing strategy, not an investing business.
Right.
They're busy doing something else every day. And the last thing I wanted to talk about a little bit is creativity. right? Because it's a little intimidating that people have. We talk about all these creative techniques, and you can start out with a little bit of money and turn it into a lot. But don't you kind of agree? You just see it one step at a time.
Yes. Yeah, I 100% agree with you there. And I think that, doing when you go to the 3-day class, there's a lot of information there, but it's laid out so well that it's kind of like a light bulb going off. It's like, this is how simple, this is how stream, this is how easy. Oh my gosh, why were we not doing this a long time ago to be able to grow our passive income, to be able to just enjoy life, or on the other side, having some money so you can live off, so you don't have to be working your regular full-time job. So.
Well, it took us those 10,000 hours to figure out how to make it as simple as we have.
Thank you. We all appreciate that very much.
Well, I care about you getting it.
Yeah.
And Joe cares about your getting it. And that was part of the thing our whole team did. So, Joe, I'm going to get you come on and close us out. Rowena, you are awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I just want to say thank you so much that, you listen to our students at Note School, and you're constantly trying to improve and make stuff better. And I think this weekend that we just had, you could see that, because you're constantly trying to help make our lives more efficient, which I appreciate that. So thank you very much.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Rowena, you are an inspiration. This has been an amazing interview, right? I mean, you're just a natural at doing it. And again, just like the event we just went to, I mean, I thrive off of that, and I can see that you do as well, right?
Yeah. I gained a lot from this weekend we just had. I'm so excited, and I've already jumped in and had a meeting with a client. So that was very exciting. So this weekend really helped push me forward on one of my notes. So thank you.
Collaboration and communication. Thank you so much. Thank you, Eddie, for doing all that you do. And I'll wrap it up, guys. That's another episode of Note School TV in the can. If you want to know more about what we do at Note School, simply go to noteschool.com/TV, noteschool.com/TV. We would love to share with you what we do. We'd love to share with you how you too can move forward in the note space. And as Eddie and I say all the time, the space that we're living in right now is certainly, it is a note time. So, yep, that's it. See you next week. Have a great week.